Hello, my dear students, and welcome to another video for our class in Web Systems and Technologies. This time, we are going to take a look at how we can manipulate our document object model. Specifically, in this video, we will try to add elements into our document object model after a certain type of event. Now we have here our HTML file, which simply uses CDN to grab our JQuery and the JS of Bootstrap and the CSS of Bootstrap. And here we have named this DOM manipulation, and this is the script for our very own script, JavaScript, which is in this particular file right now. It's also empty. So let's begin with this. The purpose of this particular demo is we'll just have a simple input text, and in that text input, we can add items to an ordered list. So let's start. First, let's have maybe a title or heading here, and we'll call this, well, my favorite foods. All right. All right, and so there you go. We need to put this inside of a container. Okay. Next, below it, we're gonna put input type text, and I'll just give this a name of. Well, we don't really use the name for this particular purpose, so we'll just skip that and give this an ID of new dash food. And of course, we'll give it a class for our bootstrap styling, form control, and maybe we'll get a placeholder for this, and we'll give this enter food. There you go. And I think it's a good idea to put this into an input group. So let me do that. We'll have that input group here. Put this inside there, and after that we're gonna have a button with the style of primary, and it should be small because it will be together with the text field. And this will also be a input group append, and we'll just put this add food. All right, so it's gonna look like that. That looks great. So now below we'll have our list. Okay, just below our form, we're gonna have an H3 for no, not an H3, but a UL. And for this UL, we have to give this a name, an ID, so that we can manipulate this one. This will be the one that will be manipulating, will be adding items into this list based on the values that we uh, type in the input text, and that will be done once we click on the button. So by the time we click on the button, whatever food we put here will be added into the list, into this UL. So we'll give this an ID of food list. Okay, and maybe we'll give this style, just an inline style, to give this a font size of maybe 1.7 em. And let's try to see, put some li inside here, sample. All right, so there you go. Of course, we're gonna remove that sample because we'll be adding it dynamically by typing a name of food here and clicking on add food. And so that's what we are going to do next, which is in the script.js. So the event that we'll be grabbing is the click event of this button, and this button has a name of, it doesn't have a name, it doesn't have an ID. So let's just first give this an ID, add btn. Okay, so let me copy that and go to our script. So here We're gonna have the ID add btn, the click event, and inside, of course, there is going to be a function which points to an arrow function. And here we are going to grab this text field. So the name of that text field is this guy, new food. So we'll grab hold of that. And what we want to get, we'll just assign this to a variable or a constant. Food. All right. And next, we are going to grab hold also of our list. So our UL is this guy, food list. So another const, food list. Oops. Has to be that. Okay. Now, we are going to manipulate this food list. This is the UL, and add item onto it. There are two methods to add. This the add method and the append method. We'll be using the append so that whatever we add will be surely be at the end, at the last, very last element every time we append. So what we'll need to do simply say food list dot append, and then we'll be appending an li. So we say li, and then inside of that li, we're gonna add the food, but not the food because not the element. The food here is the element, but what we're getting is the value of that element. So food dot val, and then enclose it into a close li. Right? So let's try this. Let's say sinugbang bangus and add it there. Oops, nothing happened. There must be something wrong. Nothing's wrong. I wonder what's the problem. All right, let's see. We did not save our index. So make sure we save all. All right. And let's do this again. There we go. So let's have sinugbang bangus. Click on add, and there's the sinugbang bangus. So we're practically manipulating our document object model. Specifically, we're just manipulating one element within within the DOM, which is exactly this UL, which has no LI inside. But look at the output, we have now two LIs inside. And if we are going to look at the inspect, we can see that inside of the body, under div, under here in the UL, we have actually two LIs. Right? And we can add more. This is dynamic, of course. Let's say lechon. Click on add. Kinilaw. Click on that. Now, let's give this a little bit more user friendliness. Let's increase the quality of the user experience here. What we want is when we click on add, the text field will be blank and the cursor will be here in the text field. So to do that, after appending, we are going to clear the food. So we already have a handle of the food input text. So say food dot val. This time we're going to give it a blank string, and then food dot focus. So the focus method grabs the cursor inside into that an input text. So save. It refreshes. There's no more list inside. So say again, sinugbang bangus. Click on add. See it's added, and the Text field is cleared and the cursor is back inside of the text field. One more. We also want that we'll be able to add by not just by clicking on the button but by pressing enter after we type a name. Okay, for example, we say uh, piniritong isda. Then press enter. Nothing happened because the event we are trying to grab is the click event of this button. So there, we want also to have to grab the event when we press enter on the text field. So let's also do that. First thing is we need to put this inside of its own function, because we'll be calling that function when we click on the add button as well as when we press enter. So there are two possibilities. So we need to put this inside of its own function. So const, let's just say add is a function and paste it there. Now here, this click event will simply call add. And now we also add another event, and that this time that event is for food. The new food, new dash food, and we'll be triggering the event key up. Okay, so to key up, we need to get the event object here, because we are going to ask, we're going to take a look at what key is being pressed, and we will only do something if the key that is being pressed is enter key. All right, so let's first take a look at what is the key code, because every key in the keyboard has a code, and we need to know what is the code of the enter key. So we'll console log event, we get the key code. Okay, so that we'll see what is the key code for the enter. So we'll run this, and we'll take a look at the console here, and this time we press the put the cursor inside and press enter, and it shows the number 13. So now we know that the number 13 is the key code for the enter key. So we go back to our code here, and we'll now check if event that key code is equal to 13, then we are going to call add again. So we will be calling add if we key up and the key is 13, which is the enter key, or we'll also call add if we click on the add button. So now there are two possibilities, and let's check. Save this, and then let's check it again here. So we say inun unang isda, and then press enter, and there we go. I did not click on the add food, but we're able to add it into the list by pressing enter. Let's add one more. Piniritong manok. Press enter. There you go. And if you type here and click add food as well, it also works. So there, this is the basic example of DOM manipulation. Now, what if we want DOM manipulation which is a little bit more complex? Because right here, we are simply adding one element into an existing element. We're just adding an li here to the ul. So what if we are trying to add something more complex, like maybe a card, and inside of that card there's a header, and there's some contents, and maybe some buttons and so on? That would be a little bit more challenging than this, because we're just adding one element here, and the other will be adding a whole hierarchy, a whole tree of elements representing one visual content on your web page. So that's what we're going to do next. Okay, let's go to demo 2. Let's first stop this, and we go to demo 2 again. This demo 2 is the same starting point. This time we are going to go live, and we'll have a new blank application there. This time we're gonna be adding some items, maybe movies. Okay, maybe movies. Okay, we'll have the title of the movie and starring the stars of the movie, and maybe um, the price of that movie. I don't know. Anyway, so we need to have a form this time, not just one input text, but three input text. One for the title, one for the stars or the artists. Okay, so let's just use music na lang. Title of the music, the artist, and then the price of the music. All right. So first, we're going to have a container, and inside this container is going to be my music. Right. And then below it, we're going to have a form. So let's have a card, and then card body, and we'll have an H4 add music. So we have that card, and below we're gonna have title. Okay, so we'll have input type text. Give it a class of form control. I'll give this an ID. Let's clip this ID of title, and let's put a placeholder music title. There you go. Let's just copy this 3 times, and this time we'll have artist, and the other one is price. And we need to change this price from text to number. All right. They're too close to each other. We need to add some margin. So maybe MB2 for all of them. Margin bottom. There we go. And below will be the button. We'll give this button a width of 50% and add music. All right. So when we click on add music, we're gonna be adding another card below. So this is going to be a list of cards representing each music. So below, let's just first put this horizontal rule, and let's just create here a sample so that we'll know the structure of the HTML structure that we'll be adding every time. So let's create first. There's a card there, then we put a header, card header, and we'll put an H4 as the title, the song. So song title, and then below will be the card body. Okay, and in the body is going to be the artist. So we'll have strong artist like so, and then say Michael Jackson. Okay, then below we're gonna have card footer. We're gonna add an H2 maybe and make it float to the end, and this will be the price. So for the price, we need to have a peso sign. The peso sign. This guy. Let's copy this. Okay. And put it here. Let's just say 2,300. Okay, save, and there's your song title. Then the artist is Michael Jackson. Okay, so this will be our sample. This is how it's gonna look. But because we are going to add some more here, we need to put a container to them. Okay, so let me cut this, and then we'll have a div with the class or an ID of a music list. So inside will be this. Okay, so it's gonna be the same, but now we are enclosing it inside of another div. So if there are two of them, for example, we have another one, so it's gonna look like that. Ooh, that looks good, bad. We need to give the card a margin bottom. So MB3 maybe. So let's see. There we go. Okay. So let me get rid of the second one. We'll just keep the first one for reference. And then we go to our script. When we click on the add music button, and that add music button has a, don't have an ID yet. So let's give this an ID of add button. Add btn. Okay. So save, go back to JavaScript. And this is not the one. It's this guy. All right. So we're gonna do add btn, the click event, open up a function. Okay, so we need to grab hold of these three things. So we have, what's the name? What's the ID? Actually, title, artist, and price. So we'll have ID title, put it on a constant called title, and we'll just copy this 3 times. Artist and price. Right. Next is we're gonna grab hold of the div, which is the container. So this guy, this will be the container. We'll be adding items inside of this div. So that's our next const. I'll just call it div. And what's the ID of that? It's music dash list. Let's copy this guy here, paste it there, and there's our div. So now we are going to create elements that will be added into the div. So the elements will be based on this. First, we need to create a div, and then we add in that div the class card and MB3. So that's the first thing. So we'll have const card, and call that. So the way to create an element is still inside of the constructor. We say document that create element, and then the element here is, in this case, is div. Okay, so we now have a div element called card. We need to add classes into that element, which is the class card and MB3. So we can do that by saying card dot add class, first the card, and then add class again. We can chain this MB-3, and maybe we can put some shadow. Okay, no, di na lang. So we have there our card. So this is this guy, this first element. Okay, and then inside we'll have another div would be having a card header. So we'll create that div again. Const header is equal to, same thing, it's also a div. So just copy this, and then we add a class to that header, card dash header. Is there anything else? Nothing else. And then inside the header is an h1. So since it's only one element, we can just do it the same way we did in the first example. So we can say header append, and then we have h1, and then inside will be the title. Okay, so we get a plus and say the title dot val, because the title here is the element, and we are going to put inside the h1 the value of the title. So that's why it's dot val, and then close the h1. Well, h1 is too big, maybe h3. There you go. So created a header, we added a class of card header, and then we appended h3 into that header. Next is so that takes care of this guy, the header with an h4 h4 mo din na gani, and we're using h3 anyway. Okay na. So another one is the body. So const body is equal to, again, the same thing because it's still a div, and then we say body that add class. The class we're gonna add is card dash body, and inside of the body is we're going to add the artist. So, and since the artist is not inside, oh well, we have a strong, and then the artist. Okay, so we'll do that. Body that append, we'll have the strong artist, and then we'll also add body append, and then the text now is just artist.val. So the takes care of the body. Now we need to go to the footer. So const footer is again equal to the same thing. This time footer, we're going to add a class of card dash footer, and then inside of the footer we're going to put an h. What's that? h2. Okay, so footer that append h2 with a class of float end, and inside we pass in the price that val, and then we close the h2 here. So that takes care of the header, the body, the footer. Now what we need to do is append the header, append the body and the footer into the card, because we know that we only created the card, we created the header, we appended h3 into the header, we created the body, we appended this guy into the body, we created the footer, and we appended h2 into the footer, but they are all separate elements. Okay, for now what we need to do is append header, body, and footer into the card, and then so say card append header, and let's just copy this, card append body and card append footer. So what we did here is we added the header, body, and footer inside into the card. Next thing is we need to add the card into the div, because this div is the music list that we have here, right here. Okay, so let's remove this now. Wala na siya sulod. Right, so here the div will append the card, and again we're gonna clear things out here. So we say title.val blank, and let's just copy this. We have the artist and price, and finally we title that focus. Okay, after everything. Right, save all. All right, so let's try this. Say man in the mirror, Michael Jackson. It's priced at 234. Add music. There you go. Man in the mirror, Michael Jackson, 234. Look at this. This looks hideous. We're gonna fix this. We'll be adding a peso sign. There's the peso sign. Copy that, and it's gonna be here on the price. But also we need to do something with the way, let's just sample. See the way our price is written. Gusto tanga na comma sa thousands and dot zero zero sa tumoy. So we can also do that. We'll just be using a function to format our price value. The function we're using is the international number format. So let me cut this out first and say entl dot number format. It's a function dot then the format function, and then we pass in our price. So what is it gonna look like? Let's do a sample again. It's gonna look like that with a comma. No, if we want to add dot zero zero at the end, we are going to do that here in the number format. We will be adding a properties configuration. The property we'll be using, there are two properties. That's going to be the minimum fraction. Oh no, I forgot. Minimum fraction mga na tagbalik. Let's do intl number format, decimal places. Yeah, this guy. Let me find fraction. Right, minimum fraction digits. Gonna be 2, and then maximum fraction digits is also gonna be 2. Right? Save that. Go back here. Let's do this again. Let's say nobody but you. Si artist na. Hi. IDK. Let's have a price of that price. Add music, and there you go, 2,344.67. And if we add another song, Sammy Benny, and if the price is a whole number without decimal points, we have that. That's wrong. That should be 0.00. Minimum fraction digits 2, maximum fraction digits 2. Ooh, it's not working here. Okay, we need to add a locale. So we'll have a locale of ph. Let's see if this works. And right there with that 00. Okay. Set another with 0.23. And so this ends our lesson, guys. Anyway, I will be uploading this or posting this code into our GC, or maybe in our Moodle course, and then in the Moodle I'll also be posting an activity for you to perform this week. All right, so that's it for this demo, for this lecture. Thank you so much for watching, and good day, everyone. Bye bye.